Let me bring that way down, get my headphones up. Hey, hey, hey. Hi, it's Wednesday, and we're starting track feedback, bringing it in with Mindbender, who made a 6.5-minute mix of Living for Today, which we heard this version in one at like 2.5 minutes, and everybody was just like, give us more. How many Germans does it take to change a light bulb? One, because they're very efficient and there's no sense of humor. Scotty Burke, in and out. All right, there's my sound levels. Scott, while you're here, did we have an update on Haze? What did I pull up from you? Is Visionary 4, is that new, Scott? Got DJ Waters in the end of the lineup. I pulled up the tracks from the bottom to the top today. What are we talking about? This is track feedback. Let's get to the point. Sound design, song structure, and mixing. Does your track have original sounds that move around and sound interesting? Question number 1. Number 2, does the music arrive at a climax of some kind that takes us on a peak, an emotional journey, a ride, something other than a loop? So song structure brings in everything about music theory and the whole world of composition, as well as automation and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And then what does it really boil down to in the end is the mix. Does your track drop some bass in the low end? And that could be for ambient chill out all the way up to the hardest techno. The mix has to sound good, heavy low end, deep bass, because that's what we're here for with electronic music. And then a nice wide stereo field, crisp, high end, and a buttery mid-range with something going on in all the frequency ranges. And to find out if there is something going on in every frequency range, we got our spectrum analyzer, which we started a couple weeks ago, and I totally love it because we can take a look at the tracks and see what's going on. So let me just see who's here and say hi. We're listening to Mindbender. Oh, so good. Did my sound routing just change itself? Sounds like it did. I'm so sorry about that, Mindbender. It did, see that? Live and learn. Want you. When did you put in want you? I don't think I saw that. Ooh, I like this dubbed out delay section right here of this song we're listening to. All right, Morton, this sounds great. The mix sounds good. I'm gonna bring this way up in the mix right now. Get ready, everybody. That's a great rhythm. Bow, bow. It just sounds beautiful.
I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over. I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over. I'm living for today, 'cause it's not over.
Yes, man. Slow-mo acid, I love it. I was just noticing on the spectrum how we had, for an example of how I use spectrum, I want to say this clearly. When there's a place with the arpeggiator bass line happening and no kick drum, you can see 2 bumps on the spectrum line, like little mountains. There's an F1 and an F0. So I'm just going to play that little part again, put the mouse on the spectrum line for all you folks at home. And I just want to show you again, if anybody's watching this for the first time, what it's all about as far as EQing, mixing sub bass and low end and all this stuff is understanding what frequency range your sounds are happening in and making sure every sound is in its own range and you don't have massive conflict of too many sounds fighting for the same range. So let's just check out. I'm going to put the mouse on the spectrum line. If you look in the little box in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see the frequency in hertz and the MIDI note. And this is where you make the connection in your mind. Oh, that MIDI note is going to be at 83 hertz or whatever, which means if I want to hear that bass line, I go to that frequency, 83 or whatever, and put up a little boost, and that makes that one note louder. You can actually do harmonic EQing and EQ the specific notes one by one, like on some Search and Destroy, to pull up the volume of that one bass sound, instead of going on a DJ mixer and taking the low and just like cranking it up. So let's see those F1, F0 notes again. F1, 87, 88. And now if F1 is at 88, we want to find F0, cut the frequency in half, you go down an octave. And just to make sure that's totally clear, at 12:09, I want to put this in the timestamps later, harmonic EQing, octaves go in doubles. So if you have the note F at 44 and you want to EQ the note F, the same F, but one octave higher, you take 44 and double it, you get 88 hertz. The octave goes up, the whole scale, and the frequency doubles. If you want to find the next note F, 44, 88, 176, let's go on the spectrum line. This is like the most boring part of math. I don't know if people are really into this, but I think it's so cool because it unlocks so much potential. Just look in the little box as I move the mouse. We're looking for the note F above 176. Oh my God. 88 times 2, 176. We find the next note F. So when you're EQing, you can use the harmony of sounds and find the same notes in the frequency spectrum. It really, really works. Let's check out what we did in the end of this track, and I'll stop talking. Is that new sound? Bow, 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 bow. And it's so wet and gooey and spacious. The texture, it's like really nicely balanced. And in the spectrum, we can see it's all like really nicely balanced. Really nice way to bring it down to an ending, kind of filter down the synth, drop out some of the percussion elements. I love it, I love it. Nice long outro, check this out. Ooh, ending with an impact. That is fantastic. That's such a great upgrade after last week. It just flows totally. I know I talked over that like half the track, but I wanted to hear the ending. It really, really flows. There was a new little synth, I think, that was extra at the end. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, Todd, Melvis, I think the high cutoff that you're seeing is from the stream after it comes into SoundCloud, out of SoundCloud, through my routing, back out. We're losing some highs, so that's what that high brick wall thing is up at 17K or something. So, Morton, this sounds done. It sounds perfect. It totally flows. The mix is, as always, beautiful. So I think you're good to go. Put that one out and give us the buy button so we can click it. All right, Scott Burke, Kenada, Want You, version 1. Reset Spectrum. I'll turn this up a little bit after it kicks in. Let's see what we got. nice and dreamy. Right off, I was thinking that super low, down in the 40s part of the bass line, you could probably EQ that out a little bit, let your bass line be big down to the 70s, and have the kick drum underneath it. That would probably be okay. I like how those two bass notes are popping up above there. I can hear the bass notes clearly and the kick drum clearly. So if you take a little bit of sub out of the bass line, it'll even be better. Classic Spacey Burke vocals. Notice how compared to the last track, this one has a lot more dynamics, it's a lot more bouncy. The sounds feel like they're kind of coming and going, more like there's like a more distance between them. So there's definitely some space for mid-range compression, and clearly it's not a master track, totally fine. I'm just pointing out what I see in the spectrum. Nice vocal treatment, good delay reverb, little echo. Ah, that was cool. Okay. Compositional techniques at 12:15 p.m. timestamp. It's all about building up to a peak or creating a climax, and we talk about tons of different ways to do that in transitions with drum breaks or filter sweeps or whatever. This time, we got that effect from a vocal loop that was just looping, and it was the title of the song, which is awesome. Want you, I want you, I want you, I want you. And I wasn't expecting much to happen, but what happened is at the end of that 16-bar section, or if it was 8, maybe, I wasn't counting, but whatever, at the end of that section, the vocal loop released and we heard the rest of the words. That was cool. Let's just hear what was that, how'd that get there? So the loop released, got your attention with new words, and the new words went up in pitch. Wah, ba, 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 ba. So going to a higher note creates tension, and releasing a loop is something different and unexpected. And then right after that, there's a drop where the beats drop out. That's a great formula for creating tension and release. Now bringing back something familiar. DJ Waters, hang up the phone, man. Come on. That bass is nasty. And I feel some width on it. Yes, those hi-hats coming in right there. Good. One sound, that kind of metallic reverb is a little too loud. Chow chow. That chow chow, it's like a metallic kind of metal reverb sound. That could come down a little bit. Okay. That little synth could be a tiny bit louder. I just saw it on the spectrum. The vocal is louder than that synth right here. Ooh. Those little notes. Come in. There's a quiet inner voice mid-range synth that could be a little louder relative to the vocal. Yeah, and that metallic bass reverb thing, I think it came in around here. It's coming in right there. Chow chow. What is that? So that's a bass part with a big reverb on it? Is that what that is? get to... That reverb thing takes it to like a industrial genre more than like slow house or deep house or something. It's like plodding and kind of like dark and metal. So the upper register of the bass, I would take that down a little bit. Okay, I can hear that's an important sound at the ending of the track, but in the middle, we've got like deep sub bass, vocal. What I would do is take the high end of that metal kind of bass thing down a little bit with like an EQ kind of curve. Or, you know, like a shelf EQ, just taking it like a flat line, but take it all down on the highs, maybe down to like 1000 area. It's kind of, you have to experiment with that. And then take that pad synth sound that was around here and bring it up relative to the voice. Yeah, I just saw that note around 709, the F, 700 hertz, 800. The vocal and that synth are right in the same place, and there's tons of space there. So what I would do is something like bring the synth up louder, maybe get it panned a little bit outside the voice and have the voice really clear and direct in the middle. And then when you like compress the mid-range, those will all come together and like gel as a melodic instrument vocal blend, which will be very cool. And if you take the like, buzzy part of the bass down a little bit, that'll allow those to feel even more out front without having to turn them up. You kind of turn down some of the noise around them. Not that your sounds are noisy, but that reverb is like just So that's what I have to say about that. And then at the very beginning, those two opening bass notes do not need as much sub. You can leave a little more space for that low kick. So good track, good track. Oh, kick. Turn the kick down a tiny bit, and Morton. Yeah, good comments coming through. Thanks, everybody. And thanks, as always, for hanging out. Let's listen to The Machine Soul. This is a new one, Lucid Dreaming, that just came up, and let's see what we got. I like that drum mix right away. Wide, reverb, loud, kick drum balanced. Just right away, that sounds like a good mix coming in. Yeah, Scott, that 37 hertz sub and the kick drum that you're working with, I don't know if those need to fit together like that. You could probably take the 37, scoop it down like a melon ball scoop. I see a notch. Do you think that bass line's gonna come in right there at that note E? Wow. This shit's mysterious. Yeah, Ian, this is from The Machine Soul. I'm not sure who this is on Discord. I need to know that, though. Oh, Robert Fulkerson. Right. He's the most... Yeah. Building up to something. Yeah, Morton, this is your friend, right? Yeah. I like those little whispery vocals. Got some new sounds coming in. This is a great sound design piece. How are you guys doing with that sub level? Is that sub bass loud enough for you underneath the kick drum? I get it in the headphones, but I'm not sure how this was gonna transfer to a big system. It's there, and the sub is doubled with a higher pitch or a higher octave bass, so it's probably okay. But give me some low sub feedback from what you guys are hearing. Yeah, weird and engaging at the same time. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. There's enough happening that it keeps us interested. Stuff is like subtly changing. Oh, and this is a remix too, okay. Let's go through this breakdown and then we'll skip out a little bit. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure if the sub is super heavy and deep, like it's like under my headphones frequency. Morton, are you working on the mix at all? Do you guys mix in the same studio with this one, or is this like something you heard from are you hearing this for the first time right now? Kind of has a little bit of the Mindbender sound with like that ongoing beat, arpeggiator vocal effects thing. Okay, let's go. Really like that kick drum sound. Okay, yeah. Headphones. I'm looking at 11K. There's a little high-pitched whistle sound at the very end. It's like, let's watch for that. I think it's like right there at 10.8 or 11,000. Did you hear that? It's like a high-pitched beep. That's cool. That's a great track. The drum mix instantly impressed me right away. I don't have any major notes about the arrangement or anything. It flowed. It's like a long, flowy jam, so it's nice and deep. And the mid-range synths were all playing together nicely. Sounds are coming and going. Sound design is great. Stays interesting the whole way through. It's not like an epic build-up kind of a, but that's okay. Lucid dreaming, kind of chill ambient stuff. So yeah, that's cool, man. I don't know what to say. That one sounds really good. So Ben Hunt, Walk of Shame. This is a brand new one, and we also had an update from Ben Hunt on Anna V3, right? So let's do Ben Hunt so he can get his comments all in one place. We're going to quickly go through Anna, newest update, and I think this one might be almost done. Let's check this out. Oh, Scott, you said HS8s. I looked quickly and thought you said headphones. HPs, HS8s. All right, good. I think Ben made notes about the kick drum. We were talking about the click on the kick drum. All right, Scott, see you later. Thanks for hanging out. Glad we got your track in. Yeah, Ben, this is sounding good. Let's see if I can grab his updates. Okay, this is where we were talking about the kick drum slowly ramping in. I think we're gonna hear it without that. Okay, Morton looking for a little less reverb on the snare. Oh, I like how this is building up now. It feels more dramatic without the kick drum, totally. Going up. Yes, totally. That's the way that's supposed to work. The kick drum comes in, like I was waiting for it this time. I'm pausing this. Before, in the last version, I was like, oh, okay, kick's coming in, we're gonna have a drop. Okay, now it's like, oh man, it's building up. I want the kick to come and I feel deprived that it's not there. And it makes a much better effect. Let's just go through that again. Right here, it's like buzzy and like high frequencies going up. 410. Oh, Ben, you're here. Awesome. That was so much better right there. Good. I'm gonna stop right there. Anybody who's watching the replay, last time in this breakdown, there was like a slow entry of the kick drum ramping up in volume, like coming from far away. And it was okay. It wasn't wrong. It wasn't killing the track, but this is so much better without that. And the click on the kick sounds good. Yeah, those slight subtle changes just totally transformed that from like a kind of okay build up to like something that really gets someplace. And Morton, I just want to ask, you made a comment about the reverb on the snare being, so if somebody says the reverb needs to maybe be tightened up with a gate, that kind of means the reverb goes on too long and we want to like hear it at the same volume but chop the tail off it. That's around that part of the song. And yeah, I can definitely hear that. The reverb is like wispy and kind of so maybe if you want to, Ben, try putting, if you have the reverb on a return track, put a gate after the reverb and play with the gate threshold and like get it to cut down so that the tail stops kind of like before the next snare drum hits. It's almost like beat matching the reverb to stay open for the length of like a beat or something like that. Play around with it because that can also do something to clean up the space. So you have a big reverb bloom on the hits and then it dies down quickly and just gets out of the way. It's one of those things where you don't really notice it because it's gone, but when it's there, it's like almost a little too much. So that's good with that. Let's check out Walk of Shame. We got some liquid going on in here. Pouring drinks or something. Do I hear some dub chords bouncing around in there? I do. Flanger on the hi-hats. You've been listening to reggae, dude? This is great. That chord needs to be louder. Bop, bop, bop. Bass line could maybe come down a little bit. Good pulse, though. Oh, you know what I gotta do? So now we're like in a B section of the song with a different bass line. It's gonna return back. Okay, so we went from an opening section and then like a B section with a different bass pattern and then returned back down. That's cool, but the beats kept going continuously all the way through. So if you're gonna change musical patterns like that, can we make something that's more of a transition or like highlighting the difference between those two sections? Okay, so you got a crash. We had a crash cymbal come in at the end. Dun, ba, bum, 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 bum. That's a 1-4 progression. Starts on the 1 chord, goes to the 4 chord. Classic, perfect, good theory. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe a little bit more of a drum break before that transition, and maybe cut out the drums for like 1 bar. Just have a 1 bar gap of silence before the beat comes back in. Good, good, good. Those chords and that delay could be a little louder. Okay, so Pipclit is saying, that's thorium, the mix feels a little bit disconnected. That's a good comment. It feels like that, to me, if I see that, it means like all the different channels are just mashed in and they're not like leveled and balanced. And it's sort of like the bass line is a bunch louder than the chords, so those kind of feel a little bit farther, like disconnected in space. The drums are really nice and up front, but the bass is not super connected to the kick drum. Kick drum's a little low. So yeah, the mix needs some work, but let's focus on the arrangement, the composition, see what else happens here. I like this part. I hear you getting into those delays and sound design stuff. That's cool. Yeah. This is going to be a great track. This is super groovy. It's going to come together. It needs a little bit of mix work. Nice around kick drum. So I think the kick could come up a little bit, bass line down a little bit. Dub chords definitely up a little bit. Chop out the drums when the song sections change. Quick ones, like maybe a 2-bar dropout, just mute the drums, come back in with a roll. Digga, digga, psh. Crashes go down there. Delays and sounds are good, reverbs are good. Most of the parts you need are in place. Just work them together a little bit better. Bring that back for Saturday. Let's listen to Lophophora. There was a funny comment about this song title, version 25, final voice makeover final 3. And everybody's like, oh my God. That is what it's like to be a producer. Turning this up. Mute mic. And I want y'all to know this is a dance track for late night vibes. Tested and proven. Speaking of muting the drums for a short 1 or 2 bars, it really works really well to just define a section. This reminds me of the beginning of The Hobbit when they're hiding from the guy on the horse and like those little beetles are crawling out. They're under the tree. What are those things called? The hunter things? These sounds are so great and deep. I gotta skip forward. It's 13 minutes. I love this jam, but let's just go through a couple sections. A little bit of a harder snare is in there now. Totally anchors the beat and keeps you in it. Nazgul, thank you. Jeez. Kind of gargling. Arr. I'm really interested in how the vocal looks with the other mid-range synth parts. And look how nicely the sub, bass, and kick drum have their own space. Even with the kick drum there, I can pick out the two spots where the note F is big. Guess we're on F day today. And it's so clear, the note she's singing and the sub bass are all on the note F. It just locks it together harmonically. The vocal is really nice and out front. You can even see in the spectrum. But the other mid-range things surrounding it are like supporting at the same level, so that there's like kind of an equal loudness feeling in the mid-range. You get that the vocal's there, but everything else is still kind of big in the mid-range space. I know that's not really specific, but it sounds really good. Okay, let's go forward. Keeps going. And look how much bounce the spectrum line has. It's still a very dynamic mix. Is that almost like a sitar, the one that fades in? Wow. It's such good sound design how that melody instrument blends with the voice. I love those. Sorry. All right. That's a beautiful track. No comments. It sounds done. It's so nicely mixed. Oh, it's violins mangled with flangers and reverbs. For a second at the end, I thought it was a reverse vocal just coming in to blend with the other one. But it's my favorite thing is when sounds merge and you can't quite tell which one is which. They get like melted together, coming from different sources. That's super cool. Beautiful, man. This project is really coming along. It's better and better every time. Market this one hard. Great potential. Yeah. So, Jerogi, this is coming, I think, from now we're getting into tech tracks. That's me changing the master volume. Hold on. What? Sorry. Yeah, you lose yourself in that last track. 13 minutes. I like how that snare is knocking right in the middle. Nice synth entrance. Yeah. Watch the highs on that vocal. 7K, the S. 5.8K S. Maxime. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second. We were just talking about blending two sounds together to make it like a seamless thing. What we got right here is a vocal that needs to be de-essed, and the S sound is sibilant. It could be from 4,000 to 12,000. Different voices are different, but it's always something around 6,000, 9,000. There's like a little, it almost sounds like a chirp, like there's a little like a whistle inside the S, and we have that happening here, which is okay. It's not a major problem, easy to fix. I would do that with an EQ and a little bit of EQ, a little bit of side chaining to make a de-esser. And what I wanted to point out is that the white noise riser that's coming up is going through the same frequency range, but it's a lot quieter, and it doesn't feel as much like a riser, and the voice is kind of loud. So what I would do here is make the white noise a little bit louder and de-ess the vocal and get that riser and voice to really blend in the highs. Just back here. Yeah, so right there, that riser came through and felt like a lower, like an ocean wave farther away, like whoosh, like a whoosh without the whoosh. So that would be a place to get the riser up a little bit, de-ess the vocal, high frequency will be a lot better. Sorry for stopping the track, I know. Banger. Ooh. That clap, really good energy. Keeps it going. Nice groove, man. Great beat. Looks like we're coming up to an epic breakdown. I like how I can feel the bass notes. Do, 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 do. That eighth note rhythm. Looks like a C sharp minor, C sharp E and G sharp. Oliver, hey. Got some percussion coming back in. You can really see that S right there around 6,000, 7,000. A lot of space. Everybody chill out. Now we know it's coming back. All right, so maybe a better reverb on the vocal. What kind of a reverb are you hearing, or what would you want to have differently? I hear it as a wash. I was so focused on the S's and the high frequency, I didn't even really pay attention to the reverb yet. Yeah, it's a jamming, like, deep late night track. And it's got that simplicity that we need to have too. A really good track needs simplicity, where we've got the beat, the bass line, the arpeggiator synth thing happening, and the vocal. And then a couple layers of beats come and go, and that's it. And it all works together. Yeah, creating drama and tension, putting sounds together, painting a bigger picture. Ian, I agree. We like this track. Not much to correct. Yeah, honestly, I would EQ and change the vocal and change the vocal reverb, and then that white noise sweep a little bit louder. And you're pretty much ready for final mix, mastering, and people telling you to give us the link to buy it. Let's check out Denats. As always, what time is it? Almost 1 o'clock. If you're here and you're watching and I didn't play your track yet, let me know so I can play it. Let's check out what we got coming from Denats. And he said this was a rework of something from before. Is that him here? Oh, so quiet. Oliver, what are we looking for you? Do you have an update on Winter Comp? Tim Law's got you in the lineup. DJ Waters got you in the lineup. Verao update, okay. All right, the Melv. There's Tim, Schultz, Verao. I like that break. And Tim, which track should we do for you? Which one is most important? We've got the Leave the Heart and Sanity. I like these beats a lot. This whole track is sounding good. And the mix feels to be working pretty good too. I wish I had a better idea of what we're looking for in this one. Feeling a little disconnected on that. Yeah, that track is feeling solid in the Denats style. All right, is Ian here? Is Ian on the phone? Adam, I'm sorry I didn't give you better feedback on that. I'm not totally sure what stage that track's on, if it's a totally update of one from a month ago or something. So I need a little more clarity. Nightmare Chants. Let me bring my master level down first before I ever press play. And here we go. Come on. Do I need to refresh that page? Okay, Tim, I see you. Leave the heart. This part sounds epic, man. The blend of vocals and drums and reverbs right here is really like, sounds like a movie soundtrack. What the hell was that? That was my system. Sorry, I don't know. Totally epic buildup. I don't think those... What? How is that?
Welcome to my nightmare.
SoundCloud display is glitching, but the sound is not? That's weird. Yeah. Okay, my first comment was there were a couple of rowdy little kick drum bumps at the beginning of this track that I think maybe you could not introduce those yet, because the intro was so nicely balanced with the vocal and sweeping epic stuff. The very, very beginning, I know this is like in new mix phase, right? But from here, awesome, right? Those right there, I thought, like, are those, what's happening, right? So, for me personally, those first opening kicks are not cool, totally not necessary, but I guess that's a creative thing. And I'm gonna play this through and dip off camera for a second and just let this go. If it'll play, hello. Okay. Nice looking mix.
Take a look in the mirror. See your inner self.
I'm sorry about the glitching. I'm checked one thing, that wasn't the problem.
And you. Welcome to my nightmare.
The vocals are beautiful in here, the lead and the chorus surrounding it. And I really love that whole transition thing. There was a dive bomb, and I saw it go down the spectrum, and then the kick came in, and everything is so nicely balanced. So Ian Waters, you're doing a great job on the mixes. Let's just go to the end of that breakdown and watch what happens as it comes back in.
Welcome to my nightmare.
That's a nice mix. Do the finger dance for you. Oh. That clap is off, right? Is that supposed to be late? This part, the grinder. Dang, dang, dang.
Unleash your demons. Witness a new beginning.
I'm amazed right now. Criticism in that middle section where the mouse is, that clap. I said clap, and I think you commented it's a gunshot. Okay, so that's supposed to be off because it's like, and it felt like it was late. I'm just amazed at how good this sounds at the end of the grinder section. The way the voices, the singing and the speaking voice come back in. It's really feeling like seamless. It just ramps up and then it's there. Like, where'd that come from?
Witness
That's a great blend.
a new beginning. Welcome to my nightmare.
I love that high frequency and that the stereo buzz around that kick. I'm just gonna let this slam all the way.
My nightmare.
That is an album intro for sure. I think you could ditch those first kick drums at the very beginning. You don't have to, but I don't know. And I have no other comments on this. This is really, really great. The mixes are getting so much better. I don't know how you did it. Like in a matter of like just a couple of feedback sessions, all of a sudden we went from these like Frank Sinatra, like crazy acid jams. And all of a sudden now it's like, whoom, everything is right in focus, right up front. It's rowdy as shit, you know, changing, chopping, moving around with big contrast in the types of sounds, but the way they're presented is really coming together nicely. So you get 3 claps. You could get 4 claps on Saturday if you get. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, this is great, man. I liked the comment you posted too, how you said, you know, you're sharing things that are not always leveled or EQ'd perfectly, but you just want feedback on them, and you understand that it's not all like supposed to be perfectly done yet. So I guess the biggest thing that was a problem for me was in the middle where the claps were late. Let's just check that out again, or gunshots. Right here. I don't know. Because the rhythm they're doing sounds like a rhythm that should happen on the beat, but they're not on the beat. Free claps for everyone. Yay, clap, clap, clap. So you might want to tighten those claps up or let us know what your plan is with that. What planet are your claps coming from? Answer the question. And Tim, you wanted an update on the other one, not on that one. And we got all these people to play. Cool. Leave the Heart 9 mix premaster. Pew.
Gain presents a tale of
Oh,
longing
no,
and long.
no. Ads from SoundCloud. What are we gonna do? Couple good mix sets popped up. We got Space View X from Matt Schultz, a dub techno mix, hour long 2 days ago, with some mountains. So I'm looking forward to playing that next time I drive around somewhere. And we got a Scott Burke Self mega mix. He put an interesting comment up about somebody said, hey, why don't you make a mix of all your own tracks and make it a mix set? And when he posted this, he said, I didn't think I had enough tracks to make a mix set, and I didn't think they would fit together. You know what? Nobody knows that. If you take the tracks you have, and I'm telling everybody to do this, like, take the tracks you have, put them all into one new Ableton project, and figure out, how can I put these together as a set? It doesn't have to be a strict BPM matched set. You can pick them by how they move emotionally and how they make you feel, so you can kind of jump tempos, or you can go by like which key signature, how they transition from one to the next, and how they fit together from your production view. And however you do it, I bet it's going to be a lot more interesting than you think. And something weird happens when you listen to your own music in a set where you continuously go out of one track into the other. It sounds new, it sounds fresh, and it like stops you from thinking like, I'm in a producer mode, I'm in edit mode, and you just like experience the music and let it flow and really hear it the way your audience hears it. It can be an amazing thing. It's really fun to do, and you might surprise yourself with how much material you have, where you don't have to you don't have to present the songs like, here's the beginning, here's the whole entire song, here's the ending. You know, you can get creative with it and mix like skip the first 2 minutes and just bring in that intro, or make the intro from a transition section, and then all of a sudden you're at the fat part of the track without having to wait for a minute and a half or something like that, which can really be a lot of fun. So I recommend everybody try that and put together a long mix set of the tracks you're working on. Even 6 tracks can suddenly become like a good half hour or something if you have long tracks. Yeah, Ian, good comments, good comments. Did we finish the ads? Oh shit, we did. Roll that back. I hear Tim Laws, I don't see Tim Laws. There we go. Boop. Rewind. What is this, love at first sniff for laundry detergent? Who do they think is their audience on SoundCloud? I don't know what they... Never mind. Tim, good groove, man. Let's bring this up a little bit. That reverb made my eyebrows go up. These sounds are great. What was that in the background? It feels more together, like the beat and the sounds of the bass like jumping in and out. This whole mid-range is so good. The high frequency sounds coming and going, the bass reverb and the chords. Somehow, I remember before this felt kind of disjointed. Now it feels like together, if that makes sense. Yeah, Tim, Randy Adams, and actually Adam Hatfield, kind of in that same bouncy, sampley world. Lock 'em on an island with Ableton. I like that bell sound coming in, that high frequency.
Leave it behind.
Good transition sound ramped up. There's the bells.
Leave it behind.
That vocal might be a little bit too loud, but not a problem.
We are the night.
Bit Crusher? Is that distorted?
Leave it behind.
Got that filtered drum break coming in, all right?
We are the night.
That R2D2 shit in the background is super cool.
We are the night.
Those. Make those a little bit louder, please.
We're broken.
Yeah, I would take the vocal just down a little bit and those little like bonus synth things up a little bit because those are so interesting. And they're stereo and they're moving and it's like bubbly. Yeah, bit crushed and distorted.
We are the night.
All right, we're building up to something.
We're broken. We are the night.
Okay, there's that riser. Wow, 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 wow.
We're broken.
There we go, back into it. Cool, that works. Yep, and those hi-hats are just nice and crisp.
With me.
I'm gonna skip forward a little bit and just check. Yeah, man, this is so much better. Get out to here.
Leave it behind.
Maxime, I'm getting a decent low end burst out of here. That one little bump, boo doop. I mean, maybe it could use a little bit more low end, but on earbuds, you can't really tell. Low end is fine over there. Good, good, good. Tim Laws, nice job, man. That's a nice update. It sounds good, and I think that one is ready to go. Like I was saying, you could take the vocals down a little bit and bring up the R2D2 synth, because those are always excellent. But the first thing that grabbed me was how that bass line had a reverb that was very like, it was like a dubstep bass, like just jumping in, and there was space for everything else too. It wasn't all crowded up. It wasn't disjointed. And once upon a time, there was a track you had where we felt like the sounds were just coming in and out from too far away. They were like not like in the same zone, but that has been fixed. So that's really cool. Yeah, good stuff. Talked about Megamix. I'm not going to do Sanity today. Matt Schultz and Verao and Mr. Melvis been waiting. I'm not sure Bo is here today. Let's do Todd. Let's do Todd Mavis and have a palette cleanser before we go back into dub techno. Yeah, good track, good track. All right, Mr. Melvis, version V1D. So this is like mix 4 on this arrangement. Is that what that means? Looking for someone to master. You got Pivclit and you got Morton Mindbender, who are both would do a great job with your style. So start a conversation, remember? Ian, that's a cool idea to do screen share with live sets and do feedback on it. And 4, yeah. I think that bass line can come down a little bit. the guitar are working nicely. I'm gonna EQ a little bit. So I just EQ'd down the low mids to try and pull that bass line down just a little. Yeah, the guitars really do sound natural and like, okay. I know you were talking about drum loops and stuff before. The question is, do you have a reverb on this whole drum loop as a package? Because in this section right here, I heard the kick drum feeling like it had that moof, 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 like gymnasium, like drum set in the gymnasium. So if you do have a reverb on the whole drum kit, what you want to do is make sure you EQ the low end out of that reverb, because the kick is feeling kind of woof, woof, woof. And I felt like you push the bass line volume up louder to get on top. So when the bass line and the drum set is playing together, I didn't really feel the kick that much. Tell us the answer. I like that synth on top a lot. Yeah, those guitars come through great. They're like the rhythm and the lead. Ah. Yeah. This is an example of a track where the kick drum should not be the biggest low end bass element. What I would go for is having the bass guitar taken, think of the bass guitar as like the main sub bass and low end element, and have the kick drum really work with it at like 125 hertz, 100 hertz. Find where in the kick is something that'll cut through and pop. And it could be 90 or 100 or $110 or something. And then, EQ the lows out of that whole drum loop. So the drum loop is going to be like a snappy, poppy kind of thing, like k-k. And then the bass is underneath it playing those longer notes. Let's go back to that drum break. So what I just did was I totally cut the lows out and EQ'd down the low mids and jacked up the volume of the whole drum set. And right there, the drums like jumped up more and got bigger in the mix, and it wouldn't threaten your low end sub frequencies with your bass guitar. So this is a great example of where the bass guitar is the big one on the bottom and the kick drum is not. Let me reset EQ, sorry. Ian Waters, you live in a special universe. And this is like the disco break, right? Those claps are nice and wide. Dig it. All right, how do we get out of this? New melodic element at the end of the track. Good composition. Yeah, you do not need all that low end in the kick drum or drum mix. Yeah, the claps have a really nice space to them. And then we got to fade down. All right, Todd, that's super cool. So definitely do what we said. I hope those tips were not too hard and fast with the EQ frequencies and what I was doing. Basically, let your bass guitar, be the bottom end and work your drums more towards the low end or the low mid section. So like you could even have that kick drum boost up like 125 hertz. So when you're at a show where there's like a pair of those 1,000-watt powered speakers on tripods and there's a band playing, like Mackie or something with the little blue lights on them, a lot of people play shows with that. And for bands, those speakers were built to kind of reproduce like down to 90 hertz or something and have that thump. There's a line of speakers called the Mackie Thump. And it's amazing if you put a kick drum into them, even though it's an upper speaker without a sub, it still has, it's amazing how much bump can come from like 100 hertz. You wouldn't think that's going to be like a big, heavy kick drum sound, but we're not trying to be like, boom, boom, boom. It can just be like, doof, doof. And it can feel like a really solid, tight, round kick drum that's hitting hard in the mix, which is what you need it to do. So for anybody else watching who's addicted to 60 hertz, you don't have to have all that in your kick drum to have a really solid kick drum that totally works as a low-end element, and then have your bass guitar underneath it. And that's what I recommend in this case. So we got, I think we're going to skip these two. Let's do Verao, and then we'll end up with Matt Schultz to take us into the rest of whatever else is happening today. The kick on its own is stomping. Speaking of stomping. And Todd, yeah, overall the composition on that track is really great, man. The guitars, the layers, the new synth elements coming and going. Everything about it feels great as overall arrangement and music. I'm not sure if I said that, but I really like the flow. Yeah, this track, I didn't quite catch the updates. That was cool. I like what the bass line's working. I don't even remember the bass line before, but this one just like working. Nice, nice, nice. That was perfect the way you cut the bass line right there and had the gom. Yeah, this feels like a global house party track. It really does. One leg wobbling? Is that like... This bass. Oh, that's cool. Is that a totally new bass line in the breakdown right here? I want this louder. I still want that little violin string sound a little louder before. This is amazing. Yep. Breaks. What was that? What was that? Is that saw wave? Was that right there where you were talking about the saw high end? Saw high end and the drop tunes of dirty? Was that? People are gonna lose their minds on this one and like spill their drinks. Elro vibe, yeah. Totally smooth so far. Arrangement, everything, flow, great.
Lá vai uma, lá vão duas pombas a voar. Lá vai uma, lá vão duas pombas a voar. Pombas a voar, pombas a voar, pombas a voar, pombas a voar, pombas a voar.
All right, Top Mavis, see you later. Yeah, I love that vocal filtering, everything, the vocal mix. All right, we're gonna rewind. So many good things just happened right here. What I'm looking at in the spectrum, this mix is so cool. There's a low end thing happening. The vocals are totally in the mid range, and there's a synth in the high range. This is like the clearest example of 3 frequency ranges with something going on in each one, a nice mix, and it's happening in a breakdown. Let's just look at those sounds again. That's super cool. So we got our lows up to like 200. Vocals in the mids from 200 up to 2K or something. And this super obvious synth. Picking up from like 1.45 up to the high end. High pass filter. Perfect drop. So good, so good. Scott Burke is back. Cannot get rid of Scott Burke no matter how hard you try. Dude, this drop is so right on. Just, And the clap is nice and dark too. It's like a kind of like thick clap thing. Yeah. Mosquito. I can't stop this track. I don't know what to do. 8 minutes. Oh my God. It's amazing. But. Okay. Oh. The OSP drum breaks. Always good. Yeah, beautiful. Violin string sound on the top end. I think right here that could even be a little bit louder. If anybody has any comments on this one, let us know, because this is done. This is so done. It's great. The bass sounds were just like totally together. Mix is awesome. Song flow is awesome. The breaks are cool. There's nothing extra, getting in the way. It has that simplicity, and it goes through cool changes and really has an epic moment. One more time. And it all comes together right there. 6 minutes. Okay, last track of the day is going to be EchoLot from the Matt Schultz. Yeah, Oliver, totally, man. Just put that out. Look how that kick drum has this round thing all the way up on the top. That's a good example of where a kick drum has a bump around 100 hertz that feels really nice and like gunk. And then the sub came in. That snare drum feels like it has a little bit of a late groove on it. A little more dry vocal, not quite as much reverb.
That one human being will lead another out of the dark night of ignorance and into the shining light of truth is ludicrous.
That's a great vocal sample. Yeah, a little less reverb and delay on the vocal, a little bit louder with the dry to make sure we get the message. That shit is ludicrous. I like this ticky ticky. That's super cool. We have entered space. Look at all that low end, low mid stuff in the chords. I'm gonna pause and talk about frequency ranges again. I like it when the beats drop out and we can just clearly see the sounds. So in this little empty space section, we have a low end whoop happening, a low mid synth like below 300 hertz, and then an upper mid synth. And you can really see the three of them if you look for it and just look for like, for anybody who's just catching up on all this stuff with Spectrum, we set up Spectrum to have fast settings so the line reacts really quickly so you can see the exact sound at the moment something happens and clearly identify this. And the reason this track is working so well is that these synths are in their own spaces, even though they all gel together and it feels like boom, 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 boom. You know, it's like kind of like hovering in the same space together, but you can distinctly see the frequency ranges. This is really cool. That low one there. There's the upper mid one. The lower mid one. Kind of like below 500 and above 500. Really good shaping of the mix together. Chicka, chicka, chicka. And that, what is that, clicky percussion? What's that coming from? Chicka, chicka, chicka. Oh, sorry. And the Matt Schultz, as always, really good blend of the kick drum together with that sub bass sound. This is an example of using the same frequency range at different times. That low end sub is coming in between the kick drums so they can share that 50 hertz space. Nice and bouncy.
We empower our experience by insisting on our authenticity. It's a wonderful thing to learn to be able to stand up and yell bullshit.
Bullshit. So what I did was I just took the high end down off the whole mix to get rid of that reverb.
And nobody is talking about the primacy of experience and the dignity of the individual. The dignity of the individual.
A little bit of boost in the high mids, or 2,000, maybe 3,000. And I took the high shelf down to dry up the reverb on the vocal just to pull out where the voice was. And that's EQ flat. Terrence McKenna dropping knowledge. This is great. Matt, all your tracks come out and you're like, there's version 1. I don't know, I just made it this weekend and it's like a done track. Yeah, vocals, I agree with you guys. Vocal snare comments, yep. Oh, that clicky stuff is a delayed Foley sound from a Forest sample pack. I don't know what Forest you hang out in. I've never heard of Forest doing that, but okay. All right, and we're rolling out 6.5, almost 7 minutes. Cool. Really great, man. Beautiful vibes. Super smooth, chilled out track. Do a little bit with that vocal, and I think we're about done. And let me reset back there. I have this other window open that I've been meaning to get to the whole time. And I know this is at the end of the broadcast, but I want to just give a little bit of a spiel about how you can get involved with this. If you're watching on YouTube, watching the replay, and you made it all the way to the end, you deserve to know you are eligible for a Mixotexture member feedback on the track feedback crew. What we're doing here is we're sharing tracks in Discord, which is something that looks like this. Discord is a whole other platform. It's not an internet browser. It's its own program that you download for free. You join different companies or groups or people or whatever in what's called the server. So this is the Mixotexture server. And inside the server, we have all these channels like house tracks, sidetance, techno. And you can post your track in a specific genre and get feedback from other people who are producing that same genre. And then a couple times a week, we take the tracks out of all these channels and play them live to do feedback where we can hang out with each other, share comments, you know, fool around. And I listen for the sound design, the song structure, the mix, and give tips to help people make their tracks better so they're ready for release as soon as possible. And when there's something that's really excellent in a track, and I can't think of a single thing to say about what needs work, then we just listen for what are the key things that make this transition work or make this mix work, and then try to like extract little recipes that other people can use. So if that sounds cool and you want to get involved, what you do is go to the Mixotexture members site, courses.mixotexture.com, look at the track feedback crew, and I think I'm logged in on my user account. Let me log out and show you what it's going to look at. If you want to find out what's involved, you can click the Learn More button and go through the teaser module that just shows you how there's all this stuff inside the members site to help you find resources about mixing, mastering, labels, contact, radio shows, all kinds of stuff. There's the replay section. And normally it's think it's set to 25 bucks a month, and there's a free trial even. But if you're watching this and you really want to join, let me know. Send me a private message or something. Steve Knotts on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And I'll give you the coupon code for the members discount to knock it down just below $20 a month. Because I know not everybody has $1 million in the bank, but we want you to join us and get into Discord and share your tracks and trade comments and post updates to your mixes and get that encouragement and excitement that comes from our super productive crew. As you can see, they're a little bit wild, but it's a really supportive, really positive environment. Everybody wants you to succeed. So when we do track criticism, it's not like, oh, you suck. It's like, hey, do this little thing. It'll get better and you'll be ready for release. So sign up and join the track feedback crew. Get with us in Discord so you can see your music on the Spectrum Analyzer. And Matt, this sounds great, man. If he pulls out the Ableton Bible, I'm off. Do you have a moment to talk with us about music production? Well, the thing is, MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. Now, in the beginning, before computers, there were dinosaurs that had MIDI cables hanging out of their butt, and they would plug them into the volcano to upload their data. That's where it started from. And then there was a caveman who wrote on the wall with ones and zeros to tell a story. Yeah, it's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing. Insectorama. We have officially lost the thread at this point. I do not have an update for you on the last track I was working on, Crunchbase. But I did do something else cool. I started making little audio clips to post with mini videos to show the free presets. When I'm sharing and promoting free presets, like on Instagram or something, you can actually see a little 30-second video, hear the sound, watch the knobs move, and see what that preset does as it changes over time. So that's what I was doing with my sound design and mixing world, was making little Instagram videos that I'm gonna start doing a batch of them. I finally figured out the quickest way to do it, batch out a whole ton of them and start promoting it.
Our experience by insisting on our authenticity. It's a wonderful thing to learn to be able to stand up and yell bullshit. Because so much is being slung, and nobody is talking about the primacy of experience and the dignity of the individual. The dignity of the individual.
Got the mids boosted up, the highs rolled off, and the lows boosted up a little bit. Or just a little micro mastering or mat stirring. Is there some train station in the back of this? Let's hear the ending. Ian, drop that link real quick, please. Okay, Matt, you could give us like 20 seconds of that background noise, especially because with this kind of track in the sets that we would be playing this in, it would be great to have like a nice 15 or 20 seconds of the background noise and actually turn up the volume on the background noise and even send it into some little delays or glitches or something and make that an instrumental thing to play with, so that as this track fades out, we could bring in a new mix and have a long outro of sonic gooey, or not gooey, but you know, like, I guess dusty, but details, interesting details with a little bit of that extra thing. You didn't cut the track off too short, but for this style, a nice long tail of even 20 seconds of that storytelling train station or whatever it is could be super cool to listen to. DJ Waters is coming up on Saturday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. I'm live, and at midnight to 1 a.m., hitting it hard, 200 BPM, Frenchcore for Halloween. Like, hide your children. If you can drop that link for us, Ian Waters, in the chat, so anybody who's watching who wants to hear it. I love that shit. Train station, fireplace, Dan Rain. Yeah, awesome. Great session, everybody. Thank you for hanging out and giving your comments and feedbacks and updates and tracks and progress. It is super cool, and you're always provoking me to want to do more and be better and make more tracks and share them. Share the shit out of them. So that's going to do it for today, Wednesday at 1:45. We'll be back on Saturday at noon. And please join the track feedback crew. Give us a couple more people in here, and I'll add another day of feedback so we can do 3 days a week. Honestly, if we had so many people I was doing track feedback for 45 minutes a day every single day, I could be happy with that. Maybe not Sunday morning, but I could be happy with that if we were just really like, it's the energy of hearing an update, seeing people give comments, wanting to make it better, sharing the update, and people are like, wow, that's amazing. There's a lot of people in here who are making tons of progress. Get your bike in fresh air. I'm gonna go outside right damn now. You know that's what I'm about to do. Refill my coffee, put on my hoodie, go out for a bike ride, and press stop on this broadcast before I talk all day. Back in the tunnel. All right, everybody.